They are often called the most versatile crop on earth, feeding people and livestock and yielding oil and protein for hundreds of uses. North Carolina farmers in almost every county grow millions of bushels of soybeans every year. From the ink in your newspaper to the paint that beautifies your home, to fuel for America's vehicles and food for our tables, soybeans are vital to America and our economy.
Well, just off the top of my head, I'm familiar with probably about 178 different products that are made out of soybeans. We have soy foam cushions in new Mustang Fords today. John Deere combines have soy panels, fenders on new tractors, the hood, formed plastic hoods on new tractors. There's just so many, carpet backing, all your food, there's a lot of food products that have soy.
I've seen exhibits of 50 grocery products, and can you pick the one that's got soybeans in it, and folks have trouble figuring out which one of the 50 it is. Well, it's all 50 of them. So there are a lot of products in the grocery shelf that have got soybeans one way or another in them that we don't expect to have soybeans. And then we get into some non-conventional uses. We've got crayons made out of soybeans. We can make ink out of soybeans, and a high percentage of the color ink that's used in the Sunday newspaper is soybean based.
Soybeans can earn North Carolina farmers as much as $450 million in a good year.
Soybeans are a fairly significant commodity to the state. In fact, we have more acres of soybeans than any other row crop. Dollar-wise, it's typically second or third most, so it's a pretty significant crop for the state, both for the agriculture as well as the economy in general.
Directly or indirectly, soybeans feed North Carolinians every day. Sometimes we eat the soybeans themselves. Edamame is the Japanese name for tender young soybeans. More often, we consume foods made with soy, or chicken and pork raised on feed made of protein-rich soy meal.
Soybeans are a two-product crop. We get both the oil and the meal out of them. And the meal particularly, very valuable within the state because we've got the big livestock industry, poultry and hogs.
We are codependent. Our livestock industry is one of the best allies to us. It's a being farmer. I think some farmers would overlook and say, well, what happens to the livestock is not going to affect me, but it sure is. It's going to affect you in the long run.
Soybean farmers are working with the animal agriculture industry to develop the most nutritious and efficient feed products for pigs, chickens, and fish. The number of soybean growers has declined in recent years, but the number of acres tended by a typical soybean farmer has increased. It's not unusual for a farmer to have 2,000 acres in soybeans. Some producers have thousands more. The tremendous investments in equipment and land mean that farmers have to do lots of things well just to stay in business.
We have to wear many different hats and be able to be an accountant, be able to be a bookkeeper, be able to be a welder, a mechanic, and then to be a plant specialist. It's nothing like it was, say, 50 years ago.
In a sense, we're both blue-collar and white-collar workers. Of course, we're blue-collar most of the time in our everyday workings, but there are times when we, of course, we're entrepreneurs and we're managers. We're running a business.
Yes, he had to be an excellent businessman, an excellent plant pathologist, an excellent chemist, an excellent marketeer, an excellent purchasing agent. A farmer has to be an all-around person.
In agriculture today, one of our most important roles is crunching numbers and gathering information. On our farm, we don't do anything because that's the way our daddy did it. You know, everything we do, we go back and reevaluate it and make sure that we're doing it because it makes good business sense.
We're constantly doing tests, on-farm tests. We're constantly watching the market to see how we can do better in the market. We're looking at the future and what products consumers might want in the future. And really, farming has changed a lot on that note because farmers have to be forward-thinking now. You just don't go out and plant something and hope for the best anymore. You have to be a little more scientific in your approach.
Iredell County's McLean brothers installed a soybean processing mill on their farm. The mill can handle 500,000 bushels a year, producing soy oil and meal.
We only grow about 100,000 bushels of soybeans ourselves, so our neighbors in the surrounding counties will have the opportunity to sell into this market. And if time permits and if growth is necessary, we can grow and use these even more. We are the largest dairy county in the state and have a lot of poultry, so farmers can save money on the meal that we'll provide also.
The mill places the soybeans under tremendous pressure. The resulting heat breaks down the cell walls in the bean, releasing the oil, which is sold to become cooking oil. One day, it may become biodiesel. What's left is soy meal.
Typically, we have to go 150 miles to sell our soybeans, and then that meal comes back from there. So you have freight going, and you have freight coming. The good thing is, logistically, we're here with the high fuel. It's good for the economy, it's good for the farmer. We're saving the farmer anywhere from 30 to 50 cents a bushel that he doesn't have to pay for freight to take them somewhere else. And then the farmer that's buying it to go into dairy or into poultry, he doesn't have to pay that extra $10 to $15 a ton freight to get it back. And we buy the beans at the same price that other people buy them at, and so it's really better for us. It's just economy's becoming more localized.
Soybeans, like many farm products, are a commodity. Soybeans are priced based on futures contracts traded on the Chicago Board of Trade. That price is likely to change every day, sometimes every hour, based on supply and demand. Each soybean farmer has to decide when the time is right to sell his crop.
Marketing is one important aspect that we quite often forget when we get out on the tractor and we work from sun up to sundown, and it's very important to produce a good crop. However, if we don't do an excellent job of marketing, we still may may not be a profitable enterprise.
We are price takers. We cannot set our own prices. We have to take what the market offers. That's the way it's always been and will be.
The prices paid to farmers for soybeans fluctuate constantly, often in response to international conditions. The weather in South America or the economy in China can affect what growers get for their beans at J.R. Jones Grain, a family-owned business in Robeson County.
Demand drives the market. The higher the demand, the higher the price will be. The higher the price, the more profitable Mr. Jones out there in the soybean field on Highway 211 is going to be. Ultimately, our goal is for the farmer to be successful. You know, our philosophy has always been if the farmer doesn't make a living and remain in business, then we won't be there. We won't be here because there won't be a need for us. So the goal is to enhance everybody's profitability. Therefore, you have to know exactly where the markets are at all times.
J.R. Jones Grain and McLean Farms are among a handful of independent grain buyers in the state. Most North Carolina farmers sell their soybeans directly to processors like Cargill, which has facilities in Raleigh and Fayetteville. Some soybeans, especially in the northeastern counties, may be exported to foreign markets. But each year, North Carolina uses more soybeans than it produces. The soybean season begins with planting, usually in May or June. Some farmers plow and till their fields and plant soybeans in rows, like corn. The beans grow until harvest in the fall. An alternate production method, increasing in popularity, is no-till.
The real benefits of no-till accrue from long-term no-till. We call it, I like to call it never-till. We simply don't work our land at all anymore. And there are many benefits of that. Environmentally, it's very good because it cuts down on erosion. It cuts down on fuel consumption, which is another environmental benefit as well as a cost benefit to us. And so our yields have not suffered at all, and in fact, the yields have steadily increased, we think, as a result of no-till.
North Carolina's long growing season permits no-till farmers to double crop or harvest 2 full crops each year from the same plot of land. In the fall, farmers may plant winter wheat for harvest in the spring. Some farmers plant potatoes in the spring for an early summer harvest. As soon as the wheat or potatoes are harvested, and without plowing and reworking the field, soybeans are planted for a fall harvest. The soybean's adaptability, developed by nature and man over thousands of years, makes it unique.
It's been around for 5,000 years, so it's been through the hottest, the driest, and the wettest, and the coldest, and everything else is in 5,000 years. And it's figured out a lot of ways to compensate for a lot of things. So it becomes an intriguing crop.
One reason soybean farmers have increased their acreage is because combines and other equipment are so expensive. Yet the machines are used for only a few months a year. Having more acres makes more efficient use of the equipment.
Well, this piece of equipment behind me, which is a combine, if you bought it new now, it's probably going to cost you a little over $250,000. And so anytime you get a piece this size, you're looking at a huge investment. On a farm our size, we have 3 of them, and we have some other harvesters. So you're looking at a tremendous investment for what you have to do.
Today's soybean farms often consist of a patchwork of fields, owned and leased, spread out across the countryside. The exception is in less populous eastern counties like Terrell, where fields seem to stretch for miles. In any part of the state, moving equipment from field to field over country roads can be challenging for farmers and for their non-farm neighbors.
Farm equipment moves slowly down the road. Very few pieces of equipment move over 20 miles per hour, but we have to move from field to field.
What I like to tell a lot of people is if you see a pickup truck coming up the road and his lights are blinking, it's for a reason. Slow down because there's probably something fixing to pop around the curve. Be prepared to take action.
And so it is a problem. It's one that we try to minimize by picking the time of day in which we're going to make our move when there's less traffic. We try to be courteous. We try to drive on the shoulder as much as we can when we're meeting oncoming traffic, and try to be legal with all our stuff, and it works out pretty well.
Soybean farmers try to be more than good neighbors. They also try to be good stewards of the land.
I feel like we're the ultimate environments. We take this land and we live on it, and we're going to do everything we can to protect it.
He's got to protect that land for his own benefit. And when we protect it for our own benefit, we've protected it for our neighbors. So we are number one to be an environmentalist, to look after the soil that we grow our crops on.
Whether it's using no-till as a source of planting crops, or whether it's using crop rotation so we don't have to be so dependent on chemicals, we're going to do the things that we can to improve our environment and to improve our community.
Science and technology help the farmers do what's best for the land. Computerized soil analysis information, in combination with GPS units, allows agricultural products to be applied only where needed. GPS units can also literally steer tractors through fields, preventing overseeding and over-application of herbicides. This reduces expenses by cutting waste while protecting soil and water quality. Many soybean producers are helping preserve an American tradition, the family farm. On many farms, 2 generations can be found working the family enterprise.
My parents, Pete and Levon, Started farming back in the early 60s, and my brother Jimmy and myself went to NC State College, got degrees in agriculture, and come back here to farm. And we're now running about 2,300 acres of row crops, corn, wheat, and soybeans. And combined, we have about 450 sows, fair to finish hog operation that is completely independent.
Sam Walton, another NC State graduate, helps tend his family's soybeans, cotton, and corn in southeastern North Carolina.
It's not the number of acres that determines whether you're a family farm. I feel like in the news, the family farm is sort of misrepresented. And this is as much a family farm as any is. And we're farming 5,000 acres, and there's ones that are bigger, a lot bigger, that are family farms.
Whether farming the rich, dark soils of the Northeast, the sandy coastal plain, or the rolling Piedmont, soybean producers say their best times are in the field.
It's always interesting to be outside and working with something you can plant and watch it grow all through the season. I guess the challenge of doing it is why I want to get out of bed every morning and do it and enjoy being outside.
It's just such a beautiful thing to be able to go out and plant a seed and work that seed all year, and then at the end of the year you can see a product that you have produced. As a team, we can produce a crop that can feed a world, and it's a hungry world out there today that needs to be fed. But I believe that the American farmer is up to the challenge. Whether we're producing food for livestock or we're producing food for someone's kitchen table, I think the American farmer today can provide for all of the opportunities that exist today.
North Carolina is an excellent place to grow soybeans. It is a perfect crop.